Hello there. This will probably end up as the most talked about photograph of the year, if not the decade. This image of Donald Trump, taken at the Fulton County Sheriff's Office yesterday, is now appearing everywhere. And that will be just what Donald Trump wants. Trump even put his own mugshot out on Twitter, together with the words, "Mugshot, August 24, 2023. Election interference. Never surrender. DonaldJTrump.com." And he's facing 13 charges in Georgia. Unlucky for some. And this indictment, the fourth that Trump is facing, concerns multiple alleged crimes related to a conspiracy to subvert the will of the electorate with an attempt to overthrow the results of the 2020 presidential election in Georgia. And the 13 charges are violation of the Georgia RICO, that's Racketeer, Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. 3 counts of solicitation of violation of oath by public officer. Conspiracy to commit impersonating a public officer. 2 counts of conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree. 2 counts of conspiracy to commit false statements and writings. Conspiracy to commit filing false documents. Filing false documents. 2 counts of false statements and writings. And each of those had to be covered by a surety bond prior to his release, the total amount being $200,000, a bit of short change for Donald Trump. And those being charged alongside him are Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, 6 lawyers, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis, John Eastman, Kenneth Cheeseborough and Ray Smith. 2 former Georgia Republican Party officials, David Schaefer and Kathy Latham, Trump campaign outreach worker, Harrison Floyd, and a Georgia bail bondsman, Scott Hall. So including Donald Trump, that's 12 in all, so far, because Trump has 18 co-defendants in this case. But the thing that's really caught all the news and comment is the way Trump is looking into the camera. A look of what I see as an angry and determined man, or someone acting as an angry and determined man. But some are saying it's the look of a thug trying to intimidate his prosecutors. Either way, I don't think it'll do any damage to his support base. In fact, it might enhance it. But this look isn't just restricted to Donald Trump. Several of the others already arrested in this case had their mugshot taken while similarly glowering into the camera. For example, here's Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and Ray Smith. Now, they weren't all like that, but many were. So this leads me to think that this was a pre-planned thing, but I have no clue as to why some of his co-defendants didn't participate. 1 or 2 actually smiled for their mugshots. Now, the taking of mugshots at the sheriff's office does seem to be a very lax procedure. The lighting is not consistent, and either they stand any distance they like from the camera, or the office logo is slapped on afterwards with an any size goes sort of attitude. And I don't think I've seen a version with a height measure next to the accused either. Now, one of the reasons as to why Donald Trump has pulled out of the Republican presidential debates might be because he would have been challenged on these indictments. And in defending himself, he runs the risk of contempt of court proceedings should he mention things he shouldn't in the heat of debate. Anyway, with the now fully politicised US judicial system, there are concerns amongst Trump supporters that he won't get a fair trial in Fulton County. So Trump might try to get the case moved to a federal court, where the legal playing field might be more to his liking. As Politico said earlier this month, for Trump, taking the case federal may have several benefits. For one thing, a trial in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Georgia would draw from a wider jury pool than the current case sitting in Fulton County, where Trump is deeply unpopular. And he could do that on the basis that the charges emanate from his alleged actions while still being president, a federal position. However, 2 of the 13 charges are dated for alleged actions after he left office on the 20th of January 2021. I also gather that if he's convicted in a non-federal court, he has no power to pardon himself should he actually get elected back into office as president. And in going to a federal court, he might even get a more favourable judge. Another benefit for Trump is the amount of time any decision over such an application would take. Months. So the Democratic Party and anti-Trumpers will be very keen to see this go ahead as planned and not be transferred. So you wait for a court case, and just like buses, 4 turn up at the same time, just prior to a presidential election. You'd think that Biden is a deeply worried man, wouldn't you? Or at least his supporters are, and possibly his son, Hunter Biden. And there are a lot of question marks hanging over the Biden clan at the moment, a lot of fast-growing question marks. Maybe the Bidens fear that a second-term Trump might return the favour. But of course Biden is as pure as the driven snow and would never try anything like stitching up a political opponent, would he? And now to this side of the pond. The Telegraph has taken a look at the official government UK irregular migration figures, and what they found should dismay everyone who wants to see the UK government take tougher measures to control our badly monitored borders. We've already seen more than 1 million legal newcomers into the year to June, but now we find out that out of 93,500 people having made their way here across the channel in a small rubber boat since January 2021, only 23 have been returned. And further, so far this year, only 2 have been returned. On top of that, it was in January 2021 that a new law was introduced to declare these newcomers inadmissible if they had travelled through safe countries to get here. But since the scheme started, only 83 of these newcomers has been served with an inadmissibility decision. And I do have to wonder how many of the 23 sent back have already attempted a re-entry and might have succeeded. This is just more wokery at work. These decisions, not to take decisions, are probably taken by civil serpents. And we all know that civil servants don't go to work. They either go to woke or they woke from home.